Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sayın Genel Sekreter,
Esteemed Secretary General,
kıymetli Dışişleri Bakanları,
esteemed Ministers of Foreign Affairs,
değerli kardeşlerim,
my dear
hepinizi
brothers and
en kalbi
sisters,
duygularımla
let me greet you all
hürmetle
with
selamlıyorum.
warm regards
Esselamu
and
Aleyküm
heartfelt feelings.
ve Rahmetullahi
Esselamu
ve
alaikum,
Berekatuhu.
rahmetullahi ve berekatuh.
İslam dünyasının siz kıymetli
Today,
temsilcileriyle
I'm really happy and
İstanbul'da bir
fortunate
araya gelmekten
to be with you here
büyük bir
with the esteemed
bahtiyarlık
representatives
duyuyorum.
of the Islamic world.
2 gün boyunca gerçekleştirdiğiniz
I
istişarelerin
hope that the consultations and deliberations you will hold for 2 days here and the decisions that you will take, I hope will prove to be beneficial for the Islamic Ummah and for the entire humanity. I'm sure that you will once again announce to the whole world, make it clear to the whole world, the support of our organization for the achievement of global peace and prosperity through the decisions you will take here. The effects of the meeting at an extraordinarily critical time now will be felt not only in our countries, for sure, but hopefully all over the world. At the beginning of my speech, I once again commemorate with mercy our more than 55,000 brothers and sisters, more than 65% of whom are children and women, who were martyred by Israeli army in Gaza. And I wish healing to our 128,000 brothers and sisters who were injured in the same attacks in Gaza. Turkey knows the pain of our Palestinian brothers and sisters as our own pain and their sadness as our own sorrow. Our Palestinian brothers and sisters should know the following: no matter how dark the darkness of oppression is now, inshallah, God willing, justice will be manifested and victory will surely belong to those who believe. With God's permission, I sincerely believe that we will see good days when we will talk about victories, we will talk about joy and peace instead of suffering, cruelty and death. Distinguished guests, for the last 2 years now, we have been increasingly confronted with Israel's policies of occupation, destruction, and massacre. With the unconditional support of the Western powers, Israel continues to destabilize our region. First, they attacked Gaza and the West Bank. They have turned Gaza into a gigantic wreck in front of the eyes of the entire world. They have been bombing health facilities, schools, mosques, and churches. They have brutally slaughtered people who were waiting in line for help just to buy a sack of flour, a bowl of soup, or just a loaf of dry bread. Every day, hundreds of innocent civilians, mostly children and women, mind you, are deliberately martyred by Israeli forces. For 21 months now, our 2 million brothers and sisters living in Gaza have been struggling to survive in poor conditions that go far beyond even the concentration camps of the Nazis. In addition to Gaza, Israel also targeted Lebanon, Yemen, and Syria. In addition to air bombardments, they have tried to incite different groups within Syria against the government. So they have tried to trigger turmoil in Syria as well.
Şimdi de İsrail'in
And now,
devlet terörüne, oyun
since the 13th
katliamlarıyla
of June, Israel's
komşuluklarıyla
state
muhatap
terrorism
oldu.
is now being experienced by
Şunu
our
bir
neighbor
defa açık
Iran.
ve
I would
net
like to
söylemek
say
istedim.
the following
Bütün
clearly.
bu saldırılarıyla
With all these
Netanyahu
attacks,
hükümeti
the
bölgesel
Netanyahu
barışın
government
önündeki
has once
en
again
büyük
proved
engel
that
olduğunu
it is the
bir kez
biggest
daha
obstacle in
ispat
front of
etmiştir.
regional peace.
İsrail, İran'a gerçekleştirdiği saldırıların en
I
güçlü
strongly
şekilde
condemn
delilidir.
Israel's attacks on Iran.
İsrail'in terör saldırılarında bombardıman
On behalf
ve
of my
suikast
country and my
nedeniyle
nation,
vefat
I
eden
offer my
İranlı
condolences for our
kardeşlerimiz için
Iranian brothers
ülkem
and
ve
sisters
milletim
who lost their
adına
lives in Israel's
taziyelerimi
terrorist
sunuyorum.
attacks, bombings, and
Dünya devleti
assassinations.
tarihiyle
We
zorluklar
have no
karşısında
doubt
sergilediği
that the
dayanışmayla
Iranian people,
ve
with
güçlü devlet
thousands of
tecrübesiyle
years of history,
İran halkının
solidarity in the face
inşallah
of
bugün
difficulties, and
yerini
strong
almış
state
olacaklar,
experience,
etmiş
they
ve
hopefully,
duyduk.
inshallah, will be able to overcome
Gerçekte
these
etkilesi
challenging days.
saygı.
I also
İsrail,
find it useful to
Gazze,
underline the following.
Lübnan, Yemen,
The way to
Suriye
describe and
ve
define
son olarak
Israel's attacks
İran'a
on Gaza,
gerçekleştirdiği
Lebanon,
saldırıların
Yemen,
tanım
Syria,
ve
and finally,
tarifi
most recently on Iran,
aykırılık
is outright
İran'ın
banditry.
İsrail'in bu devlet terörü karşısında
The measures
ürettiği
taken by
dava
Iran to defend its
çerçevesinde
people in the face of
altını
this
savunma
state
amacıyla
terrorism of
aldığı
Israel within the
tedbirler
framework of
gayet doğal,
self defense
meşru,
are measures which
hukuki.
are quite natural,
Kardeşlerim,
legitimate, and legal.
şurası artık
Dear brothers
yük
and sisters,
ortaya çıkıyor.
what we are seeing day
Uluslararası
by day
hukuku
is the following.
ihlallerden
It is clear
çok
now that
cesaretli
these
eylemlerin
aggressions, these
İsrail'in
aggressive actions,
bölgede
which
yürüttüğü
violate international
stratejik
law, serve Israel's
istikrarsızlık
policy of
açısından
strategic
bakılırsa dikkat
destabilization in the
etmek
region.
açık. Saldırıların İran'ın
Of course, it is
nükleer
significant that the
programıyla
attacks
ilgili
took place at a time
müzakerelerin
when
yoğun enerji
negotiations on
üzerinde
Iran's
kurulu
nuclear
olması
program were
elbette
intensifying.
manidardır. Nükleer çalışmalarında hiçbir denetime tabi
Israel
olmayan
is not subject to
şeffaflık
any control
noktasında
or audit
kimsenin
for its
umursamayan
nuclear
İsrail'in
activities and does not care
nükleer
about anyone
silahların
in terms of
yayılmasını
transparency. So it
önlenmesi
is a great
anlaşmasına
hypocrisy for them
dair
to talk against
açıklarında
the
söz
parties to the
söylemesi
Treaty
büyük
on the
bir
Non-Proliferation of
ihanedir.
Nuclear Weapons.
Netanyahu
The
hükümeti
Netanyahu
13
government
Haziran'daki
actually aimed
saldırılarıyla
to undermine the
aslında
negotiation
İsrail'e
process with
kuvvetini
its attacks on the
baltalamayı
13th of
hedeflemiştir.
June.
Yaşananlar aynı zamanda
This
Netanyahu ve
incident
cinayet
also
şebekesinin
shows that Netanyahu
herhangi
and
bir
his murder ring
meseleyi
do not
diplomatik
want
yollarla
any issues or any
çözülmesini
matters to be solved
reddettiğinde
diplomatically.
gösteriyor. 1967
Again,
sınırları temelinde
Israel,
Gazze'deki
instead of living in peace side by side with an independent and
bağımsız
geographically
bir eğitim
integrated
devletinde
Palestinian state
zaten
with East
Batı
Jerusalem
içinde
as
yaşamak
its
yerine
capital on the basis of
savaşı
the
tüm
1967
bölgeye
borders,
yaymayı
instead of coexisting with them,
bakın
Israel is
bunlar
rather
tam
trying to spread the
90
war to
yıl
the
önce
entire region.
Hitler'in
Just as
yaktığı
the
kıvılcım
spark ignited
nasıl
by
ki
Hitler 90
Pasifik'ten
years ago set the whole
Atlantik'e,
world on
Hint
fire from the Pacific
Okyanusu'ndan
to the Atlantic,
Kuzey
from the Indian
Deniz'e kadar
Ocean to the North
bütün
Sea,
dünyayı
today,
ateşe
similarly,
attığında bugün
Netanyahu's Zionist ambitions
Netanyahu'nun
have no
Siyonist
other purpose than to
emelleriyle
drag our region
bölgemiz
and, in
ve
fact, the whole
tüm
world
dünyayı
into
büyük
a
bir
big
felakete
disaster.
sürüklemekten başka bir gaye taşımıyor. İlk kıblemiz olan
Targeting the
Mescid-i Aksa'nın
sanctity of
içinde
Mescid-i
en
Aqsa, our first
batılıları,
Qibla,
Kudüs-ü
attempting to
Şerif'in
hijack the
tarihi
historical
köprüsünün
status of
gasp
Al-Quds
edilmeye
al-Sharif.
çalışılmasını,
Now, these
çeşitli
are
ayrıntılar
intentions to
üzerinden
divide our region
bölgemizi
with some
kapsama
maps in
niyetlerinin
mind.
artık bu
And
nokta
these even now being
atışılmasını,
talked about in
bu
the public.
sinsi planın
We
güçlü
see
ve
all of these
hamleleri
as
olarak
moves
görüyoruz.
of an insidious
Biz
plan.
Netanyahu'nun ne
We are, in
yapmak
fact, well
istediğini
aware of what
gayet
Netanyahu
bilincindeyiz.
wants to do.
Bölgeyi
Those who think that they can establish their security by drowning the region in fire, in conflict, chaos, and in tears are following a crude dream.
peşinden gitmektedir. İsrail
Israel cannot ensure its own security by threatening the security of its own neighbors.
Evdeki hesabın
They will gradually
başka
see
sınırlarını
that
onlarla
things may
ne
not go
anlaşıyorlar
as planned.
görecekler. İsrail kanlı
Israel's
elleriyle
claim that it will establish
bölgemizde
order in our
düzen
region with its
kuracağını
bloody hands
bu ülkeyi
reveals the
yönetenlerin
blindness and
nasıl bir
darkness of
hırsın
those who
ve
govern
karanlık içinde
that country.
olduklarını ortaya koyuyor. Türkiye olarak
I would like to emphasize here that
sınırları
Turkey will not allow the establishment of a new Sykes-Picot order in our region, the borders of which will be drawn
önemli
with
vurguluyor.
blood.
Gazze halkının
We will
açlıkla
not sit back
cezalandırılmasına
and watch the
ateş
people of
ediyorlar.
Gaza being
Devlet
punished
ve
with
yerleşim
hunger, with
terörüne
state and
eski
settler
asrayla
terror in the West
emanet
Bank
dinlerin
and
birleştiği
attempts to
bu tür
destroy the historical
tarihi
status quo of Al-Aqsa
yok
Mosque and
etme
Jerusalem, the
teşebbüslerine
cradle of
asla
the Abrahamic religions.
buradan
From here,
uluslararası
I
topluma
once again appeal to the international community, especially to the countries that have influence over
bir kez daha
Israel.
sesleniyorum. Netanyahu'nun çatışmaları daha da derinleştirmek amacıyla söylediği
No one should pay attention to Netanyahu's poisonous words wrapped in praise in an attempt to exacerbate the conflict.
bölgemizin yeni
Our
bir
region cannot afford a new war or instability.
ihtiyacımız olan
What we need
aklı selim,
is common sense, restraint, caution, never to fall into the
yanlışla
hiddlenesses of covering up a wrong with a bigger wrong.
bugün burada bir kez daha
Today,
diplomasi ve
let's emphasize once again that the solution lies in diplomacy and in dialogue.
üzerimize ne düşüyorsa yapmaya
We are, in fact, ready to do whatever falls on us, including facilitation.
13 Haziran'dan bu
Since the 13th of June,
adeta yüreğimizi
we
ortaya
have
koyarak
made serious efforts to restore calm,
çok ciddi gayret
and we have really made some efforts. Inshallah,
netice alıncaya
hopefully,
kadar
we'll continue these contacts patiently until we get actual results. Distinguished ministers, distinguished friends, under the current circumstances, the achievement of a two-state solution has become all the more vital. We should continue to encourage more countries to recognize the state of Palestine. And we must continue to coordinate our efforts to take coercive measures against Israel on the basis of international law and on the basis of the Charter of the United Nations. We hope that the international conference to advance the two-state solution, which was planned to be held in New York this week under the leadership of Saudi Arabia but was postponed due to the recent attacks, we hope this meeting will be organized at the earliest opportunity. And I wish Saudi Arabia success in this initiative. Of course, I have to underline the following as well. Like between two siblings who are children of the same mother, there may possibly be differences of opinion, and these are actually natural facts of life. Likewise, these are also natural facts of politics and diplomacy. But being brothers or sisters also means sharing the same destiny. For example, the fate of Istanbul is not separate from the fate of Damascus or the fate of Baghdad, that of Cairo, Sana'a, the fate of Islamabad, for example, or that of Kabul, Tripoli, Tehran, the fate of Mecca and Medina, and of course the fate of Jerusalem and Gaza. These fates are not different. Turks, Kurds, Arabs, Persians, Sunni, Shiite, Alawite, African, Asian, Latin American, and all other sects and origins, as well as Muslims have a common faith, just as we all have a common Qibla.
Her birimiz
Each and every one of us, we
illallah
all say, La ilahe illallah Muhammedun Rasulullah.
konusu, ortak
And when it
davalarımız,
comes to our
ortak
common
çıkarlarımız
cause
olunca
or causes or our
farklılıkları bir
common
yana koyup
interests, it is our duty to put aside our differences, and it's our duty to get united. We cannot possibly allow the differences between us, the attitude differences between us, to be a hindrance to us, particularly in this current critical period that we are going through. And recently, we have seen that balances, politics, fragile relations may not always yield results. In this event, in this meeting of our organization, and our organization, by the way, represents the voice and conscience of the Ummah. In this meeting, we need to clearly announce our position, our stance against Israel's policies that have turned the entire region into a place of war. Today, we need to hold on to each other tighter, to tighten our ranks even more, to expand our boundaries of tolerance towards one another even more. That's what we need. We should take the following command of Rasul Ekrem, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, as our guide. He said the following, quote, 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 2, 4 is better than 3. Get into an alliance, unquote, he said. Yes, we sincerely wish to reach the days when our Palestinian brothers and sisters will eventually achieve national unity among themselves. And it saddens us to see division and fragmentation among our brothers and sisters, while we are all mobilized for the Palestinian people as we are here today. It is our sincere desire to pledge to unity and solidarity, whatever it is, regardless, against separation, against polarization. Dear guests, in a multipolar world, it is a must that the Islamic world of 2 billion people becomes a pole on its own. We are on the eve of a period in which the Islamic world will play a much greater role, but at the same time will assume more responsibility. Turkey's presidency of the Council of Foreign Ministers begins now in a period when the spiral of violence in our region is being triggered again by Israel, and stability and peace are being threatened. We need to show more solidarity to stop Israel's banditry in Syria, in Lebanon, and Iran as well, as it has done in Palestine. So we need solidarity. Our organization, since the day it was founded, has always carried the message of peace and dialogue, and it has always stood firm against all kinds of extremism. And from now on too, we'll fight back and overcome difficulties together. Our organization, with its 57 members, it is the second largest international organization after the United Nations. And as such, as an organization, it is in a better position to make it more efficient. It should be more efficient, it should operate as a tool of economic and social development. In verse 10 of Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah Almighty says the following, quote, believers are only brothers and sisters, so make amends between your brothers and sisters, and fear Allah that you may have mercy, unquote. For this, we will first resolve conflicts within ourselves. If we do not take ownership of our own issues with our own common sense and will, we end up serving the interests of others. As members of a common history, of a common civilization, and above all, as members of a common faith, we have the will, and capacity to produce solutions on every issue that concerns our future. During our presidency, we'll continue to actively fight Islamophobia. I would like to take this opportunity to express our satisfaction with Syria's return to membership in the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the progress made towards its reintegration into the international community. The glorious victory of our Syrian brothers and sisters by giving hundreds of thousands of martyrs, this victory has opened the doors of a new period. The Syrian people, thank God, look to their future with much more hope now in all respects. Turkey will continue to increase its multi-dimensional support to Syria so that Syria can stand on its own feet. Syria needs the support of all of us, meaning the entire Islamic world, in order to preserve its territorial integrity and its national unity, and in order to achieve lasting stability. I do sincerely believe that all member countries of our organization will make the necessary contribution to Syria in this regard. Furthermore, we should always pay close attention to the problems of Muslim minorities and communities. They act actually as a strong bridge between the countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and other countries. So we should be in unwavering solidarity with Muslim communities in other countries. In this regard, we attach importance to the attitude and decisions taken by our organization so far. Another important point is, my dear brothers and sisters, is the following. We must not allow the UNRWA, which performs an irreplaceable task of protecting Palestinian refugees, to be paralyzed by Israel. We expect our organization and individual member countries to disrupt Israel's games by supporting UNRWA materially and spiritually. With the representative office to be opened in Ankara, we'll hopefully make our support to this UN agency more visible from now on. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Cameroon on its successful presidency and express my delight at the increasing weight of African members in our organization. Before I conclude my remarks, I hope that the 51st meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation will prove to be fruitful and beneficial for the Islamic world and for the entire humanity. May God help us all. I greet you again with warmest of regards, and please convey my warmest of regards and respect to our brotherly peoples through you. Thank you so much, and I entrust you all to God.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımıza hitapları için şükranlarımızı.
We thank Our Excellence, the President of the Republic of Turkey. He's now leaving the hall.
To leave
Republic of Turkey, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, for joining us today and for sharing that speech with us and for his invaluable contributions.
Excellencies, now I would like to give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Philip Lazzarini, General Commissioner of UNRWA.
Excellency Minister Akam Fidan, Secretary General Taha, Excellencies, I welcome the opportunity to address you at a time of extraordinary challenges and dangerous escalation in the Middle East and the world. In Gaza, 2 million people are being starved. The newly created so-called aid mechanism is an abomination that humiliates and degrades desperate people. It is a death trap costing more lives than it saves. Food is weaponized and Palestinians are dehumanized without consequence. This is a culmination of 20 months of horror, inaction and impunity. 20 months in which a confined, captive population has been relentlessly bombarded, besieged and displaced. More than 55,000 people are reported killed, most of them women and children. Those still alive are shadows of their former selves, their lives forever changed by unspeakable trauma and profound loss. In the occupied West Bank, Palestinians have been displaced from camps in the north at level not seen since 1967. Public infrastructure is systematically destroyed, so Palestinians cannot return, and the demography of camps is permanently altered. Annexation is progressing steadily. Excellencies, across the occupied Palestinian territory, we are witnessing the implementation of a long-standing project to undermine the viability of a Palestinian state and to separate Palestinians from Palestine. So great is the desire to strip Palestinians from their refugee status and to sever the link to the occupied territory that UNRWA has become an objective of this war. At least 318 UNRWA personnel have been killed in Gaza since the war began, many with their families. This January, Israeli legislation came into effect, prohibiting UNRWA's activities in what Israel considers its sovereign territory, including occupied East Jerusalem, and prohibiting contact between Israeli authorities and the agencies. Consequently, international UNRWA staff have been effectively expelled from the occupied Palestinian territory. However, our activities continue. The courage and determination of our Palestinian staff, despite arrests, intimidation and harassment, ensure the delivery of essential services to Palestinian refugees, including primary health care and education. In the dystopian horror that is Gaza, UNRWA still provides more than 15,000 health consultations each day. We also play a critical role in managing shelters, providing clean water, and removing waste. The objective of dismantling the agency also underpins the fierce disinformation campaign spearheaded by Israel. This campaign targets lawmakers and the public in countries that support UNRWA, strengthening our funding for critical services to Palestinian refugees. Excellencies, UNRWA's financial situation is dire. Without additional funding, I will soon have to take unprecedented decisions affecting our operation across the region. Palestinian refugees will be impacted most severely. The loss of UNRWA's stabilizing effect on a region in turmoil will also be consequential. In response to the very real possibility of the agency imploding, in the face of extraordinary adversity, the United Nations Secretary General has requested a strategic assessment of the impact and exercise of UNRWA's mandate. The strategic assessment will propose how the rights of Palestinian refugees might be protected amid the immense political, financial, and operational pressure the agency is under. This will require Member States to take bold, decisive, and long overdue action. Excellencies, UNRWA is a tremendous asset if what we seek is a just and lasting solution to the question of Palestine and its people. A genuine, time-bound political process would allow the agency to finally transition its government-like services to empowered and prepared public institutions serving Palestinians. In the absence of an orderly transition, the sudden loss or reduction of UNRWA services will only deepen suffering and despair across the occupied Palestinian territory. It might spark unrest in the neighboring countries. This is something that the region cannot afford, especially now. So, I appeal to the Organization for Islamic Cooperation and its member states to throw their full political and financial weight behind efforts to safeguard Palestinian refugees' access to protection and essential services. I urge you to act now, before it is too late, for millions of people whose lives and future are in your hand. Thank you.
We thank Mr. Lazarini for his statement. Now I invite Mr. Khalid Khiari, UN Assistant Secretary General for Middle East, Asia and Pacific, to deliver his statement. Please, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency, Mr. Hakan Fidan, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey, Your Excellency, Mr. Ibrahim Taha, Secretary General for OIC, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to be today here on behalf of United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, and I join others in offering many thanks to the Republic of Turkey for its generous hospitality. For millennia, Istanbul has served as a bridge between culture and the global center of trade in goods and ideas. This heritage of connectivity speaks directly to the heart of why we are here today, to promote dialogue and understanding, tolerance and peace. Excellency, challenges around the world continue to mount. Multilateralism, diplomacy, and international cooperation are needed more than ever. Nevertheless, we are increasingly witnessing these ideas being questioned or even abandoned. In this context, the significance of the long partnership between the United Nations and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation continues to grow. Our cooperation spans a wide array of issues of common interest and concerns. As we meet here, the military conflict between Israel and Iran has alarmingly intensified, causing significant human and material damage on both sides. I reaffirm the UN Secretary General's condemnation of military escalation in the region and his call upon all stakeholders to show maximum restraint and take steps to de-escalate with a view to reaching a ceasefire and avoiding any further expansion of the conflict. Constructive dialogue and diplomacy remain the best and only way to achieve a comprehensive and lasting peace. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has endured for generations, defying hopes